Hello again, everybody. So today you're going to be furnishing a room. I've got our ruler here, I've got my 2 pencils, eraser, I've got our 11 by 17 piece of paper. Now, the idea for this is I want to actually give you practice inventing things in 1 or 2 point perspective. So the idea is we are making a room. That's what this empty cube is. You're going to start with an empty cube in the center of your page. We have an 8.5 by 11 picture plane on here. Got your horizon line, got 1 vanishing point, 2nd vanishing point if you're doing 2 point perspective. If you're doing 1 point perspective, you can just put the vanishing point right here in the middle. And we've got the horizon line through the center either way. And as a reminder, 1 and 2 point perspective, it means we're looking straight ahead, we're not looking up or down, so anything above the horizon line means we're looking up at it. Like the inside of this box, we're seeing the ceiling here. Anything below the horizon line, we're looking down at it, so we're looking at the floor here. All lines that are parallel in reality are actually receding back to the same vanishing points. So like this corner of this block here, and this side, and this side, and this side. In real life, if you're standing in a room, they'd be parallel to each other. But to show the illusion of depth, they're all receding back to the same vanishing point. So you really got to keep that in mind as you're going on here. Every line that's going to be parallel to one another in real life will go back to the same vanishing points. Okay? So start with a cube. I want this to be an 8-inch high cube, so the front side of it, whether or not it's your 2 point perspective and you have a corner is the closest thing to you, that will be 8 inches high from here to here. If it is 1 point perspective, you will do 8-inch box will be the 1 point, and it'll be receding backwards towards the point on the vanishing point here. So the idea is we want a big box, and this is essentially an empty room. It could be a bedroom, it could be a living room. Really, however you want to approach this is totally up to you. But the idea is you're going to make up furniture that's going to fit in this room. So it could be couches, could be beds, chairs, lamps, anything like that. I really want to encourage you to push yourself on this and not just do the simplest thing possible, because we're working our way up to designing a whole building. And it's very complicated, so I want you to try to push yourself now so you will really understand this by the time we get to designing your own building, okay? So it's up to you what you want to design. I'm not going to walk you through this whole video. I'm going to start you out and I'll do, a piece of furniture here. Then I'm going to speed it up for the rest of it because I do want you to design your own stuff. But I want to show you how to approach this and how to go about it, because so far we've just been dealing with simple shapes and letters. And now I want you to actually make up things. Okay, so we have our room here. We've got our floor, we've got our ceiling. There's theoretically a door maybe on one side. So you could draw a door on here. If you do draw things like doors, make sure you give it details. And this goes with everything here. Don't just draw a box and say it's a door, or draw a box and say it's a chair. And you're not doing a beanbag chair. Like, I want things actually that involve perspective in them. This is a perspective assignment. So like if you do a door, include the door frame, include the door handle, all those things like that. Anything else in here like a bed, include the sheets, include the pillow, include the bedposts. If it's a couch, I want to see cushions, everything like that. Like, this is supposed to be a detailed room. You're only doing 5 objects, but they should be 5 relatively detailed objects. Okay? So I'm going to start here. Let's start with a couch. Now, if you remember, everything that you do should include, everything that you draw always starts with a cube, because the cube is the master and mother of all forms. So anything you're going to do in here, chances are you're going to start with a cube or a rectangular box of some sort. So think about the shape that you want it to. Start with the larger shape that it is. So whether that's a cube or a rectangle, start with that, and then you can use that to fill it in. So I'm going to do a couch. So essentially I want a long couch. I'm going to put it against this back wall here, and it's got to be on the floor. So you got to make sure your objects are actually on the floor when you put them there. Draw things out lightly at first. Don't darken them until you're finished with them. So I'm going to put a couch coming out this way. And let's have it go I don't want to take up the whole room, but I want this, I guess it's a pretty big couch I'm gonna draw. So I'm starting by drawing the footprint here. I'm gonna draw the rectangle that this couch will sit in, and I'm gonna give it a little space from the wall. Actually, let's put it out a bit, so maybe I could put a lamp behind it later. Okay. And I'll just give it like a an inch or so, like away from the wall. Okay, so this rectangle here represents the bottom of the couch that's on the floor. I'm gonna build a box up from that. So I'm gonna decide how high I want my couch to be. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be this high. And that's like, I'm thinking where the back is, like where the back is up against the wall. And you want to try to keep all your furniture relative in size to one another. That's not a huge deal if things are wrong. Like if you want to purposely make them the wrong size, that's fine, but I try to do it on purpose. Don't accidentally make everything disproportional. You want this to actually, make sense in real life here. So this is just like rectangle I drew earlier. Hopefully you can see my lines well enough here. And then I've got my back edge here. Okay, so this is the box. This is the box that my couch sits within. Now I have some things I need to figure out, like how many couch cushions I want, how that will fit together. So I'm gonna just make this like a love seat. It's got 2 couch cushions. First thing, I'm gonna find the center, and this is probably gonna be helpful in most things you're gonna be doing, because if I'm gonna put 2 couch cushions here, I wanna make sure that the cushions are actually in the center here. I could do more, and I could do measuring, make a measuring line and actually, make a line that goes out here, divide it by whatever 4 boxes if I want to. And I could do it that way, and that way I will make sure all my couch cushions are the same size. Actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do? Because I wanna have arms and I wanna have cushions. I am gonna do a measuring line. So I'm gonna make a measuring line here. Let's see, and if I make the arms each a 1/2 inch, and I'm just doing a 1/2 inch because it's easy for me to measure and actually keep track of. And then I'll put the couch cushions, oops, that's not on the 1/2 inch line. There we go, that's a 1/2 inch. It'd help if I get that right. And that would make, if this is 4 inches, I'll make the center at 2. Okay. So I got that. This will help me figure out how to divide up my couch. And I'm gonna use my measuring line. So I'm going from the farthest end here through this front corner of my couch all the way through to the horizon line for my measuring point, and then I use that same measuring point to do the rest of my couch. And remember to keep this fairly light so it doesn't get too confusing, but also not too light so that I can't see it. I do want to see your work when you hand this in. That way I can, easily get through yours and make sure your perspective's all right. If you erase every single line, then it's gonna make it very hard for me to figure out, if things are right or wrong. Okay, so I know my arm's gonna be here. I can actually just draw a straight line up and down from here. This is 2-point perspective. All the verticals are perfectly vertical. Good. And then my middle cushions are gonna go right through here. I already knew that because it's the center, and if I did everything right, this line should have lined up with where my center was already, and that looks good. You can see it's getting a little complicated, but that's okay. I'm gonna clean this up in a little bit. I'm gonna do, let's see, the bottom. Debating if maybe I'll actually give this couch feet. So I'll put it above the ground a little bit. I'm gonna actually put the bottom of the couch here. And so then there's room for feet underneath. So I'll have a foot here and there'll be a foot there. And then I'll just extend that line here. I'll define those a little bit more in a minute. Okay, so let's get in feet. And I think of a couch. So there's actually the seat of a couch. And I'm just gonna use this line here. And then how big do I want the cushion? I'm gonna give it a pretty thick cushion. There we go. So you can see I've got my cushions here. I need to figure out where the back of this corner is here. I've got a few things I need to figure out. So let me I can draw in the front of my couch now. At least the few things, just so I can make sure you guys can see. I want to keep my edges kind of rounded because this is a couch. This is not going to be super square-like. Do the bottom. Here we go, around the corners a little bit. Around this corner. And then this represents where, essentially the area that the cushions sit on. So the cushions actually have to sit on this bottom part on the couch. And I'm giving my couch really high armrest, which actually the couch I have here has very high armrest like this. And so this will be the front of the couch cushions, and I'm gonna make it rounded. Remember, I want you guys to add details to this. So I wanna actually see that these are couch cushions. See where they actually fold in like that. I can do the top of them. There we go. So we can see the front of this here. So I need to figure out the armrests. As we're getting closer to the horizon line, it's getting harder to see, the tops of certain things here. But I can still see them a bit. So I need to figure out the tops of the armrests. And that will help me figure out where the back corner is too once I do that. Just do the top of this armrest too. It's getting pretty narrow. And then this will go through, let's make it thicker. There. Okay, good. And then the back of this will go down. But we also need to see the top of the couch cushions here. So this is a couch, we need to see the top of those cushions. And same thing for this one. So, I mean, you're basically gonna be interior decorators for this. So you can make up your own furniture. If you really don't feel comfortable making up furniture, you can just recreate the furniture in your own house if that makes you feel better. Either way, that's totally fine. But I do want them to be based off of some sort of, reality here. If you want to get really funky, you can, make it like space furniture or like Wild Western or other things like that. If you want to do that, totally go for it. I mean, this is an art class, so we have the ability to use our artistic freedom here. So we got our couch cushions. Maybe we'll even give it like a little bit of a stitching on here. Yeah. Maybe there's like a button. My old couches growing up had the button, and actually I should figure out where the center is of these couch cushions to put the button properly in the center. I did a pretty good job, a little bit off. Yeah. Kind of guesstimating where the back of that one is. Okay, so I'll put a button in the center, and I'll even put like a little bit of cushion coming out. Just details like that make it more believable and more real. I'll make these rounder feet. Yeah, like that. Now I could draw the top in because I can see that now. And I would recommend not going super tiny for this, because the smaller you do it, honestly, the harder it gets. As you can already see, this is getting kind of complicated. And if I had gone even smaller, like all these lines would be getting mixed up. And honestly, it'd be very hard to tell what's going on here. So keep it as large as you can. If you want to do like big pieces of furniture in here, that's totally fine. That's a lot better than, you know, having lots of really tiny ones that I just can't see what's happening. Okay. And there is my couch. Actually, let's put a center line here too. Yeah. There's my couch. And I could even go back in and darken things a little bit. You could add some shading if that will help you, like maybe put some shadow under the couch or in the back if that helps you actually see what's happening here. You can definitely add that in. You know, I'm just gonna add a little cushion, just a little bit of a cushion in the back. That's good enough. Oh, I didn't do this too. There we go. Okay, that's my couch. I feel good about this. Trying to remember what I was saying here. But yeah, make them fairly large, make them very detailed. You can make them even larger if you want to. You can add more if you want extra credit. You can do more than just the limit, the minimum of 5. Honestly, it'll just help you even more as you're going on here. So I have my first piece of furniture here. Make sure you darken the lines enough you can see them. As I said, you can put shadows if you want. Anything that will help you be able to see what's happening here. But this is what I'm looking for. And this is not crazy detailed. Like I could go even farther and add a whole ton more details on this. But this kind of level finish is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to keep going on this. I'm going to speed this up here because I'm not going to walk you through doing the entire thing. By this point, you should have a fairly good understanding of doing perspective. So I want you to actually sit here and try to figure out how to make the furniture too. You're working on this, but you're welcome to watch as I do the rest of my pieces here. And don't just do like a carpet and say that's done. Like I want to actually have 3-dimensional objects. A door can be a 3-dimensional object if it actually has like a door frame and everything like that and is sticking out from the wall. So make sure you do things like that. Or you could have a picture frame. You could do that, but actually I want to see details on the picture frame, maybe even draw a picture in there. Maybe I'll do that for this. We'll see. You know, could do a window. Anything like that. But remember to use your measuring lines. Remember to find the center. Most objects you're probably going to want to find the center of them because that will help you divide things up. Most things are divided relatively evenly. So really don't forget to use subdivision, using measuring lines to help even things out as they're going back in perspective like this. That way I know my couch cushions are actually the same size here and I wasn't just guessing. Using all those little bits and pieces, and this will really help you as we move forward here to our major assignments, which next week, major assignment is going to be, or not next week, in a couple weeks, you're going to be actually designing objects, so similar to this. So really want to make sure you get this. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going here. Once again, feel free to always ask me questions if you need anything. Okay.